good, everybody? It's Kimi and I'm back with my tea of the day. Welcome to episode 67. Siete? Siete. So, welcome back and let's get into it. I would definitely want to get into the government election on November 3rd and what that means for us, how important that is for us, for the people, for everyone, and their livelihood, and what can change, and what can stay the same, and what can get worse, or what can be unknown, per se. So, let's get into the five branches of the government. We have the executive branch, which is the White House. We have the judicial, which is the Supreme Court. We have the legislative, which is Congress. We also have the financial, which is the Federal Reserves. And we have the corporate branch, which is the lobbyist on K Street in D.C. Now let's get into the legislative, which is Congress, which that branch makes the laws. Congress and comprised of the House of Representatives and the Senate. We have the judicial law, which evaluates the laws, which is the Supreme Court and other courts. And we also have the executive branch, which is the White House, which carries out the laws, which is with the president, the vice president, the cabinets, and most federal agencies. A fun fact: on February 3rd, 1870, is when black men gained the rights to vote. In 1870, that's when black men was able to vote. But women still were not able to vote until 50 years later. On August 26, 1920, is when women was gained rights to vote. And of course, it was so selective with the woman who was able to vote. And here we are in 2020, going into a major election. With so much stuff going on in the economy, within the laws changing, within this, within that, and it's just time for us to have a kiki. It's time for us to really have a conversation, talk, and really sit down and lay down on the table what we have in stake on November 3rd. I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they're not going to vote, and I'm just baffled by that idea. Yes, we may feel like we don't count, we're 1/8 of a person, we're this, we're that, but our votes count. Our voices need to be heard with everything that's been going on and everything that's been handled and correctly for these last 8 years. Or, no, last 4 years. But we need change. We need a different outlook. We need a different system. We need something different. And by us, as black people, who didn't have the right to vote until it was mandated that we got that right to be a human being to vote, and for us to say we're not going to vote, is mind-blowing, and I just don't understand it. Like, what our forefathers and our ancestors would say, and how sick they would be by the fact that we're not taking our duty to do something for us. For us not voting is basically giving them the power to say, okay, we get to do whatever the fuck we want to do to them. We get to continue to throw black men in jail. We get to continue to not raise minimum wage, or we get to continue to kill black people and get away with it. We get to do a lot of things because these people continue to not want to vote, because we put it in their minds that their voices do not count, but they do. Our voices is the one that they hear the most. And not for nothing, like, these 4 years have been something that I can never forget. I've lived through, I would say, one of the worst presidents we've ever had. Let's look at how this year planned out. Obama told us before he left, it's going to be a airborne disease that's going to kill millions. He gave him the playbook. He decided not to fucking open it. So thousands of people later, dead over something that could have been secured, that could have been dealt with as soon as it happened, that could have been prepared and planned out. So if and then when it did happen, we was prepared. We knew the steps that needed to happen, so we don't lose as many people as we did, senselessly. Because this is the president that we picked, that you wanted to elect, because you didn't like Miss Hillary Clinton. So you decided to elect him because you thought that, megas and right is right, and you were scared to have a woman in leadership, and you wanted to pick a clown. You wanted to pick a public figure instead of one who's knowledgeable in running a country. We can agree to disagree on the steps that Miss Hillary taken with her husband. She knows the steps to run a country. Is she the best candidate? That's up to personal opinions. However, I felt like she definitely would have did a better job than he did. And that's the problem. And that's the problem, that he's being reelected, or he's running again. And we don't want to vote. So by you not voting, you're basically giving this orange person the White House again. Are you allowing him to keep on grabbing us by the pussy? Are you allowing him to build these walls for immigrants and break up these families? You're allowing him to continue to degrade us and not give a fuck about us and not do anything positive for us. But he can have different bank accounts to China. He can do this, he can do that, but don't tell us where his money is. Cool. We have Biden, who also is running. May not be the most safest bet, but we know what we've been through. But we don't know where we're going. I'm not saying who to pick for, I'm just saying vote. We have the rights to vote, so why are we not using it? Every vote counts. This person in the office now only won by a few votes over Hillary. Let's be clear. A few people voted more for this person than Hillary. It was a very close case. A very close election. So I'm gonna need for everyone to go to the polls. It is open. You can start voting now. You can vote earlier than November 3rd. Get out the way. It's probably too late to do mail-in. But go to those polls. Make your voices heard. But let's not forget about everyone else that we need to look at. Let's not forget about all the other branches that is important, that helps the system. Yeah, we might have a president, but if that president does not want to pass that law, now what? Even though they have to say so, but they don't have to say so because they still need other channels to pass that law. So if we don't have the right people in the House of Representatives or the Senate and the Vice President and the Chief of Staff and all these other chapters and people that are important in this big gumbo pie, then what are we doing? Because at the end of the day, those are the people that are putting our lives and our laws in their hands. They could easily say, you know what? I'm getting away with black people. Black people is a crime. Any black person arrest them. And that can be a law. And because we allowed and we picked the president that we wanted to pick, and we didn't look at everyone else who we was voting for and what they stand for and all of that, then what are we really doing? Like, you don't have to be political. I know it gives people a headache, and I know watching the debate was just mind-blowing. But very insightful. Like, I already knew who I was going to pick. I already know who I'm going to pick. But it's just the fact of just really paying attention and really just listening to each side and seeing their pros and cons. Because everyone's going to have a pro and a con. They're going to have a strength and an opportunity. It's just the matter of what are we compromising for these strengths and opportunities? What are we going to get out of it as people? Are we still going to have the same rights? I'm still going to be able to vote. I'm still going to get... Is my LGBT still going to be able to get married? And my trans community still going to be taken care of in terms of healthcare wise? Because you're not going to take them needing what they need to be who they are. You're not going to take that away from them. I refuse. We come too far, we work too hard for you to renege, and you can just take the law back because you want to. Because you don't want it. Because you don't support that. So, you just need to really look at who you are. Are you a Republican or are you a Democrat? What are your stances on these things? And whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you, if you feel like that person is going to be great for you, absolutely. But absolutely go to the polls and vote. Because voting is a right that we did not have before. But since we have it, we need to use it. We need to utilize it. We need to go and vote for every election. When it's your boroughs, we need to figure out who the borough president is, who that vice president, who the councilman. We need to be more involved in our system. Because by us not being involved, we get shitted on every time. Because we don't look at the bigger picture. We don't look at what's important and what needs to be taken care of and what we need as people. As people, we need to be treated as people. We need to be equal. And we're still not equal. We're still fighting to be looked at as a person. But by us being so black and so beautiful and being so important and so powerful, it threatens people. And if you really want to get a person mad, go on and vote. Make your voice heard. Make it heard because it's your voice. It's your voice, it's your opinion. It's who you want in office. And let's just see if the numbers add up. But by you not going to vote, by you not being registered, especially in our age range, the 20s to the mid-30s, upper, late 30s, early 40s, that age range are people who need to really go out and vote. Because our voices are powerful. Our voices need to be heard. It's tired of being shut down. It's tired of being unheard. It's tired of feeling ashamed. It's time to get out. It's time to go to the polls on November 3rd. It's time to go today. It's time to go tomorrow. Google it. Look exactly where you can go to do an early voting. And if you don't want to go now, if you want to go one election day, that's perfectly fine. Just so that your job will allow you to go and vote. And you will be fine. Just make sure you go and you give them your ballot. And you vote for who you need to vote for. We know what we had. And we know we was handled incorrectly. We wasn't handled with care. This person doesn't even look at black people as humans. He said on the last debate, he is the least racist person in there. Meaning his dumbass is still motherfucking racist. And it's cool. But this is a mega town. This is MAGA country. We're not gonna allow these Karens to continue to think that shit is okay because they're white. Absolutely not. So go out and vote. Make your vote count. And we'll look at what each person is bringing to the table. We already know what this person did for 4 years, which was nothing. And we know this other person can do a lot. But we also need to realize that if we do get this new person in office and we get this public figure out, that now he has to fix what this person did not do in the time that he had. So we have to be patient with him, because it's going to take him a while. It's going to take him a long time to pass these laws, fix this country back to where it needs to go. It can't happen overnight. The country is not great. So it's going to take him a little while to get it back together, but that's the presidency. You come in to a horrible ran country, and now you have to fix it up. Just like a manager out of job. If you're a new store manager or you're a new assistant manager, and you coming into a new store, you got transferred, or you got promoted, or XYZ, guess what? That store that you're coming into is probably not ran the way you need it to be ran, or was horribly ran and looked like shit. But now you have to roll up your sleeves and take your time to get this store afloat, to get this store running again, and to do it with care and compassion. That's all we ask. Care and compassion. And get motherfucking Breonna Taylor is still being handled horribly. We still do not get respect. We still didn't get what Breonna Taylor needed to receive. And it doesn't sit right with me. These cops who blatantly ran into her home under this person's leadership, ran into her home, and they got off free. A woman called the cops right in Central Park saying, "Oh, there's a black person bothering me." She gets fired, but nothing else happens. All of these deaths by these white cops under his leadership because they think it's okay. They think that it's a game, it's like an extinction. But you're not going to get rid of us because our voices matter. Our voices are important. And when we all go to the polls on November 3rd or before, vote. Get your ballot and vote. This is Kimi, and this was my tea of the day. Thank you for listening to episode 67. And I really needed to make this video because I felt like, especially for my color people, it is very important to vote this and systematically, since it has to be a law for us to vote and for us to refuse. It makes no sense to me. Like, I can't allow that to be okay. But thank you for listening. Hit me up on Facebook, Akeem Holder. Hit me up on IG, Mr. Kimi Holder. If you want to, give me some comments. If you want to do a podcast with me, let me know. Thank you. Laters.